Okay, so we're now ready to program our second bass sound. For the second bass sound, we're going to program a kind of a wobbly LFO kind of bass. It's very typical of a lot of drum and bass tracks. So the first thing we need to do is create a new software instrument. A side note is that if we double click underneath the previous track, it'll create another track which is the same as that one. So if I double click here, we can see that creates a software instrument track. Now, incidentally, if the last track had been an audio track, whenever I double click underneath it, it's going to create an audio track. But since that's a software instrument track, whenever we double click, it creates a software instrument track. It's just a shortcut rather than having to go up here and click that button. Okay, so we're going to assign an ES2 to this software instrument track by clicking on the input section. I'm going to go down to ES2 synthesizer and select stereo. Again, we're going to initialize the preset. Now, in the previous module, we saved the blank ES2 setting. So if we just go into the drop-down menu here and select blank ES2, this will reset our ES2 for us. Okay, so to create this wobbly bass sound, we're going to be using all square waves. So we're just going to turn all the oscillators on and set them to square. Put this in the middle and just here. Okay, so that's your basic square wave. Okay, so we're going to set this to unison. Okay, and that's going to be 16 voices. We're going to turn the filter reset on, but we're going to set the oscillator start to free. And then we're going to turn the cutoff down to about 1. If we listen, it's going to be very low cutoff. Okay, so I'm going to set the velocity to control cutoff 1 and 2. And we're going to turn this up to about halfway. So okay, and then to get the wobbly bass sound, we're going to use this LFO here to affect the cutoff as well. So if we just go to target and select cutoff 1 and 2, and then for the source, we're going to go to LFO2, and we're going to turn this up to about halfway as well. So if we now play it, we can hear that the low frequency oscillator is modulating the amount of cutoff. We can hear this changing as we change the rate. So if I audition the sound, okay, now the cool thing about this LFO here is that we can actually synchronize the LFO to the beat. So we're going to synchronize it at 1/8 dotted. So it's going to give it a kind of a triplet kind of a beat, or triplet kind of a rhythm. Okay. And then we're just going to go on down and program in the melody. Okay, so if we click escape and select our pencil tool too, click here, double click escape to get back to our pointer tool, and then double click inside here. Okay, so the notes in this part are it's going to start on an E flat, which is here. Okay, so if I select my pencil tool, and it's going to be the whole length of the bar. Oh, I'm just going to start the E flat here, and then it's going to go up to a high C. Which is, that's it. And then the next note is going to be back down to the F. Okay, and this part of the bass line is going to be like a response to the first part, so the whole thing's going to be 4 bars long. So if we listen back, we can hear how this sounds. Okay, it might be a bit too low, so if we just transpose this up an octave, we'll hear how this sounds. No, I think we'll just leave it back down the octave where it was. Okay, so in the next module, we'll be looking at how to program the sub bass.